argue is that every product needs to have a monetization strategy, right? There needs to be a way for those products to become profitable in the future. Because I feel sometimes some people build products because it's the cool thing to do at the moment, right? Which then it becomes like a side thing, then they don't continue it for many reasons. So I do think that it's important when people want to build products to just have like a long-term strategy on how they want to make sure that their product can become profitable in the future.
Welcome to Polkadot Insider. I'm here today with Christian. He is the co-founder of PolkaBiz. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we are actually in the middle of PBA in Singapore. Thank you for so much for having time here. So how do you feel so far for the whole academy here?
I feel really good, to be honest. I think that this cohort is probably one of the strongest cohorts that the PBA has had. And I also did the PBA in Hong Kong as well, so I can compare and contrast. This cohort is very good. I have to say that the students, particularly who participated in the Pitch and Mentor program, which is what PolkaBiz organized for this cohort, have surpassed both mine and Mario's expectations. They were very dedicated in learning how to properly structure their pitch decks, how to improve on their public speaking. So I have to say overall it went very well.
So let's talk about yourself. I want to know about you and your background as well, and how did you come up with PolkaBiz?
Yeah, sure. So I'm actually a serial entrepreneur. My career started in real estate in Miami, Florida, was I was a real estate agent. After a while, I wanted to do something new, so I wanted to go into blockchain specifically because I always understood that it was the future. Originally, I did some stuff in SocialFi, but then after that, I decided to focus more on the integration between AI and blockchain. Like right now, I also have my own AI startup where we help Polkadot developers build better applications faster. And the idea for PolkaBiz actually came out while Mario and I were doing the founders track in Hong Kong for the previous cohort. And because while we were there, we had several developers who came up to us and asking us if we could help them to better get feedback on their ideas and so forth. And we saw that many of them had some really good ideas that they wanted to bring to market, but weren't really that good at explaining to others what they wanted to do, right?
See.
And so that's where Mario and I realized that there was really a need to help these individuals who were very technically talented because all the devs that do the PBA are really good developers.
I see.
But they just needed that extra help, more like I call it business development perspective help on how to properly prepare a pitch deck, how to properly articulate their ideas in front of investors, and so forth. And that's where the idea of PolkaBiz was born.
I think it's actually really nice to have like a program or someone to actually stand behind you and then support you, right? When there's like certain aspect you're not perfect at, right?
Correct.
So for now, if developers they're good at doing tech and you're gonna support them in investment aspect, is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Essentially, what we do is that we focus on getting them investment ready, which essentially means that we help them to make sure that they know how to properly articulate their idea in front of a group of investors, which is what the Pitch and Mentor program for this cohort was about, where we got students, we would sit down with them, they went through their deck with us, they explained to us their ideas, and we helped them fine tune it and really to get it down to make it more clear, right? In the future, we also plan on doing more tailored one-on-one mentoring as well, where we also could help with maybe go-to-market strategies or figure out business models.
So like go deeper into like a
Yes,
more marketing level.
correct, exactly.
So any ideas when you are here with all the students here that actually captures your attention? Any good, great idea that you might want to share?
Yeah, I mean, there are several, to be honest. Without getting into many too of the specifics, I feel like many of the students have some really solid ideas who I think could add value to Polkadot. They just needed a little bit more help in like fine tuning it, but overall, I think many of them had good ideas.
So for Polkadot, well, obviously we're Polkadot lover. So one question for you: what are your thoughts on the Polkadot ecosystem?
Overall, I mean, I like Polkadot. Particularly, I entered the ecosystem for three main reasons. One was that I always liked their vision, where Polkadot was more of a network of different chains. We call them parachains, right? Where each of them specializes in something specifically, as opposed to just having one chain that does everything. The second thing that attracted me to Polkadot was OpenGov, because I always view decentralized governance as the killer application in blockchain. And I think Polkadot is much further ahead compared to other protocols when it comes to that. The third thing that attracted me to the ecosystem was its very active developer community. Polkadot has, I believe, till this day, the second largest developer community behind only Ethereum. So I tend to go where the devs are, right? If you have people building on some place, it's because there's a reason to be there. So overall, I think Polkadot is it's in a good place. I think what it's missing is for people to build products on it that can actually attract users, which is something that we hope PolkaBiz could help in that regard, where we want to help these people build their products on Polkadot so then they can actually attract more users to it.
I think that's a good way to highlight, what PolkaBiz is actually doing. So maybe we go a little bit deeper, like we dive deeper in that aspect. So what do you think that it's the most important or aspects for a product to attract users?
It's a loaded question, right? So what does a product need to be successful? I mean, it has to essentially solve a major pain point, right, for users, whatever that pain point is. That's up to the product to
It needs
solve.
to find the problem, right? So that we
Yeah,
can give
exactly.
solution.
Exactly. Essentially, every product needs to solve a problem that users are having, especially if it's a very painful problem, right? That's essentially what every product needs to have. What I also argue is that every product needs to have a monetization strategy, right? There needs to be a way for those products to become profitable in the future. Because I feel sometimes some people build products because it's the cool thing to do at the moment, right? Which then it becomes like a side thing, then they don't continue it for many reasons. So I do think that it's important when people want to build products to just have like a long-term strategy on how they want to make sure that their product can become profitable in the future.
I see. So, what you mentioned is that a product needs a lot of different aspects. Or
Sure. So I can say, so the way that we want to help developers essentially is that when they come to us with ideas, right, we want to focus on them better, like articulating what they want to do, figuring out, first of all, if they're actually solving a real pain point, right? Because some, again, they could be just doing something because it's the cool thing to do. And we don't think that's right. So where we want to help them just to determine, okay, you have an idea, let us help you properly articulate it to explain it to others so that not only can you get investors to perhaps fund your idea, but you can also get users to actually try out your product. One of the key strengths of these developers are their technical talent, right? I mean, like I said before, everyone that's here at the PBA is a great developer, so they don't need any help in learning how to code or stuff like that. But they need just help building what I call business acumen.
strategy.
Strategy, there you go, business strategies. So
I see. So with that, like, is there like a specific course or technique that PolkaBiz is actually like giving to the developers? Do you have like a terms for that?
Well, right now, what we're doing, and this was kind of like a pilot, was the Pitch and Mentor program here at the PBA, where essentially we helped all of them understand what it is to have a value proposition. And by that, I mean, like, if I were to ask you randomly in the streets, what are you building? You should be able to tell me what you're doing in about 15 seconds at the most, in one sentence, right?
Oh, I see.
And we really want people to have that nailed down because at any point, if people ask what you're doing, you should be able to explain it very clearly in just one sentence, right? Because and it's very hard to do, by the way, right? When I was working on my value proposition in Hong Kong, it took me a lot of tries to get it down right. But ultimately, once you have it, things becomes much more clearer because then people, once they understand what you're doing, then they're going to want to ask even more in-depth questions. So
I think that's exactly what the people need actually, not only just in tech, but like in any other career, because you need to just 15 seconds, right? So that you get the impression of what you're doing. I
Correct.
see. So, one more question. What is the future for PolkaBiz? Any new plans upcoming? Can you share with us?
Yeah, so we're actually planning on doing an investor night event at Polkadot Decoded for
Okay.
Brussels, where we're gonna have like a room of founders and investors, kind of like doing speed dating. We do have plans on doing more of those in the futures later on. We're actually working on our next stages for PolkaBiz.
So, would that be in July?
Yeah, July. Yeah,
I see.
exactly.
I see. So July
So
will be the
soon,
first.
very
Soon,
soon.
very
Yeah.
soon, very soon. How about any other small events? Will there be any plans within this year?
We are looking into that to see if there's other events that we could also do and do similar stuff like Investors Night. It's still all in the works right now, but we are planning on doing something more like that because we really want to get more founders into Polkadot, but also to show the world essentially that there are people building cool products on Polkadot.
I see. It's a great way to support all the developers out there. So how about for the PolkaBiz team? Like, are you guys in a like big team or oh?
Right now, it's literally just Mario and I,
I
right?
see.
But we do plan at some point to expand it because we're only two people, right? So it's limited on the amount of things we could do. But for now, it's working pretty well just with him, just us two working.
Working as a duo,
As a
right?
duo, yes,
I
exactly.
see. So are you the one to travel for the project?
Yes, correct. Like we're the ones that traveled here.
I see. So thank you so much for coming today. It's been a pleasure and very inspirational to hear what you're doing for all the developers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.